Hi, this is going to be our first installment of our Cook With Me videos. I started this and had the inspiration for it, just an idea running around in my head to do some recipes that our family has liked throughout the years. And I thought it would be a help to my kids who are grown at this point, or mostly grown, and who will be going out on their own soon and may want to do some of the recipes on their own. So anyway, I'm looking at this particular book. I've had this for years, and we are going to make, the very first thing we're going to make is tabbouleh. So tabbouleh is a grain salad with all these things that you see here. It uses bulgur wheat. That's the traditional wet method. I have also used quinoa, and I've used couscous instead. Couscous is a really quick way of doing it. Bulgur wheat is more traditional. This particular one is red bulgur, and it's a little bit on the big side. You can, to make a good tabbouleh salad, I think you need something that's a little finer. And there's alternate ways of making it, which we'll get into in just a minute. You also need some parsley and some lemon and some sort of tomatoes. I'm showing you a variety of tomatoes here that you could use if in a pinch, and you can really use any kind of tomato. You can use an heirloom tomato, garden fresh tomatoes would be great. This is just a regular vine ripened tomato. These are plum tomatoes, which are a little bit better because they're fewer seeds and they're a little meatier. And these are grape tomatoes, but certainly you can use different ones. Mint, fresh mint. So these are the key ingredients right here, the parsley and the mint. Now, I have not made this one with the curly parsley because I prefer the flat Italian leaf parsley, but certainly if curly is all you have, then that's probably fine. Olive oil, this is extra virgin olive oil, and these are actually green onions. They're not the really small scallions, but in addition, you might need some salt and pepper, possibly to taste. And some people actually put cumin in it. You can also use cucumbers, which actually I forgot to put in the picture, so I might be adding cucumbers. We'll see. So I will chop all this stuff up, and then I'll show you what needs to be done. Okay, so I'm going to show you, this is the parsley, and this is the Italian flat leaf parsley. For this, some people will just only use the leaves, so you would take that off. Obviously, if I'm doing this one-handed, it's a little difficult, but you would just take the leaves off like that, and then you can chop them up. You can either chop them up, sometimes you'll use a pair of scissors to get a whole bunch of these together and then snip them. Sometimes I'll use the knife to chop it up. Sometimes you can just put it into a little food processor or chopper and whirl it up that way. So you're looking for a nice finely chopped product at the end. These are mint leaves. You do the same thing. You have a little sprig of mint, and you can take off the leaves. So you just keep doing that. I did it pretty well. Now, getting back to the parsley, you'll notice that sometimes you'll see it with roots on it on the end. This whole stem can be eaten as well. So what I like to do is I separate out, and I'll include that in the tabbouleh, so you can separate out the leaves from the stems and then just mince up the stems. The stems add a nice little crunch to it, in my opinion, but you can certainly leave out the stem part and just use the leaves if you want. So you'll need probably about 6 to 8 tablespoons of mint. Parsley, you'll need approximately 4 cups of parsley, and I will include the stems as part of that. This is about 1.5 cups of chopped tomatoes. I'll probably be using about 1/4 cup of this chopped. And this is 1.5 cups of dry bulgur wheat that I poured hot water over, and I'm letting it soak. So the very first thing that you want to do is to get this going. Now the traditional method suggests putting cold water over it and letting that soak for an hour. I think the reason for that is they want to use, or they are suggesting of using a very fine grain bulgur wheat to begin with. This was a little coarser, so I am using the boiling water method, and it's probably just about good right now. I don't know if you can see that. It's puffing up, so that's good, or plumping up, I should say. So this would be the very first step that you're going to do. While you're waiting for that, you can certainly do your other items that you need to get done. You are going to need about 1/2 cup of olive oil, maybe 3/4 cup, but I would start out with only 1/2 cup. It's at 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of lemon juice, and then of course salt and pepper to taste. And if you're going to do the diced cucumber, you know, that's really to taste as well. All of these ingredients are really to taste. There aren't any set in stone quantities. So that's a good thing when you're cooking. You can add a little bit, you can take some stuff away. It's quite easy. As I said, the two key ingredients in this type of thing is this. Even if you didn't have the mint, that's okay. You could just do parsley. So let me go ahead and I will chop everything up and dice and mince things up, and then I'll point that out to you. I'm going to drain this, and then I'm going to squeeze out the excess water, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I thought it would be helpful to show you, in order to drain it, this is not the cleanest mesh, but to run it through a fine mesh colander of some sort. This is a really handy tool to have. If you use a regular size colander, all of these little grains could fall through the cracks, and you don't want that to happen. So I simply put it over a bowl of some sort, and then I'm going to see if I can do this one-handed. And we're just going to pour this into the bowl. Yes, this is extremely difficult one-handed. Hold on. Back again, I got it all in one. Okay, so now I'm just going to use the back of my spoon and just press out any excess moisture. You can certainly even use your fingers or cheesecloth or a clean towel and just press it out. There really wasn't a whole lot of moisture in this, so I am going to leave it. So you can see that there's stuff underneath. Okay, so we're good to go now. We've got that done, and I'll be right back with the chopped vegetables and rest of the stuff for the salad. I'm back again. Okay, so now this is the scallions or green onions that I chopped up. This is actually all the mint, and I put this into the food processor, so you can see it's very, very fine. You could chop it up by hand if you want a slightly chunkier. This is the lemon juice that I squeezed, and actually that was equivalent. This is a cup right here, so you can see it's not all the way up to the brim. I would say this is about 3/4 cup, so I'm not going to put the whole thing in yet. All at once. I would probably put a little bit in and test it and taste it. But this actually was 3 lemons. So I have 1/2 cup of olive oil. And here are the cucumbers. I actually took 4 of these approximately. These are pickling cucumbers, but you certainly could use other types. You can use the long, like a one long English cucumber that doesn't have as many seeds, or you can use just a regular cucumber. You might want to take out the seeds of it, and I can show another video on that. But this is how I chopped it up. So because here is all my parsley, I had what I thought was going to be 4 cups of parsley, and I think this is only about 3. So I'm definitely going to add this, which will help bulk it up a little bit, the salad. So in here I have put my tomatoes and the bulgur wheat, and now I will just simply add in all of the, oops, one-handed again, I've got stuff in the bowl, I'll just scrape that in afterwards. Put the parsley in, the cucumbers, and I'm going to have to stop the video in order to, I'm going to put in a little bit of lemon juice, and I'll taste test that. I'm going to put my half a cup of olive oil in, and then I'm going to stop the video because I can't do this one-handed. Hold on. Okay, so here we are back again, and I've put all the ingredients in. I wanted to point out, which I should have done before, you can see how dark green the mint is, and when you begin, it's light green. So I find that mint darkens really quickly once it starts to get wet and you're cutting it. So the color will change, but that's okay. The taste will still be fine. So I'm going to stir this up as best I can, and we will see what it looks like. So let me finish stirring this up. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and here you are with the tabbouleh salad. I did end up using all of the lemon juice after all. That was 3/4 of a cup, as well as adding some more olive oil in, and then I did use salt for tasting. I didn't add pepper, and I didn't add the cumin. So that's really up to you. Again, this is a pretty quick recipe. You can vary the quantities of things. You can throw in a lot more parsley, more mint. You know, you might even, I would just be creative. Throw in some other things. Maybe it's a yellow tomatoes instead of the orange, regular red tomatoes. Maybe you want to throw in some peppers, some red or yellow or orange peppers. Really, it's up to you what you want to do. This I would probably cover with some saran wrap or plastic wrap and stick it into the refrigerator because it'll taste better, I think, once it's married. The flavors have married and it's had a time to chill. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this very first installment of our Cook With Me videos, and kids, I hope you have enjoyed this. Hopefully you'll make it for your own family someday. All right, thanks for watching.